Martin Pike appears to have the job on Kudafidis, starting on a wing.
And with those two is Adam White as we go for the centre bounce. Round 2 continues on Monday Night Football here on 7. Mickey McGuan says, I'm now with the Navy Blues. McKernan rips it out of the middle for North Melbourne. Kicks down towards Johnny Longmire. Has a fresh air shot. So did Mackay. Socket off the ground by Kudafidis. Doesn't go too far. Kept in play and the kick is high, but goes nowhere. Manton over the top. Rice waiting down. Flicks it round the body. Back towards Clappe. Strong mark in front of John Blakey. Gives it off to the run of Ratton. Here's Matty Allen. Loping through half forward. He's going to go for broke. He's going for home. In towards full forward and Murphy over the line, and the first score of the night is a behind to the Blues.
Yes, good run through the midfield there by the Blues. There's the North Melbourne bench, including Anderson and Danilchenko.
Pouring with rain now. Absolutely pouring down here at the cricket ground. The kick in covers Kudafidis, but there's Bradley at the back. Just gets his kick away. Roberts late on the scene. The mark is taken at right half forward by Capriali. Capriali, a heavy knock against the Bombers on Monday. Pass in towards centre half forward. No mark. Williams the tackler. Underneath there is Pike, McGuan, and he's going to be penalised. I don't believe that. What chance did he have of getting rid of that? Anyway, the free kick is with McGuan. You see Pike, maybe he's taken it underneath there. And if that's an opportunity to get rid of the ball.
Well, I've just shown it on the big screen, and I think half this crowd agrees with you, Robbo.
Well, I think the umpire has just got to assess that these conditions aren't going to get any better. And the rain's starting to come down now very, very heavily. The ball is a little bit slippery. And the players, when they're caught like that, it's going to be extraordinary if they can move it on fairly. McGuan's kick to the full forward line, misses to the right, and it's through for the second score of the evening, another behind to the Blues.
Umpires tonight are Rowan Saws, Peter Carey and Steve McBurney. So plenty of experience with Sawyers and Carey. Rowan turns 43 this year. As
David King had a dust up with McGuan before the ball was bounced.
That'd be an interesting one, wouldn't it?
Oh, my word.
The boy from Port. Pike again. Floating it up towards Corey McKernan, but there's a big pack of players there. Pushed back towards Clappe again. He was unable to take it cleanly. Eventually it's Freeborn. Goes back towards centre half forward. Bradley at the back of the pack. Swoops on it with the long sleeves. Gets tagged as he takes the kick, but it was well done by Ratton. Back towards Bradley. Bradley in the rain. Down towards centre half forward. It's going to be slippery and sticky, and it's going to be tough. Stevens comes away. Rice again in front at the moment. Laidley wearing him like a glove. Capriali clear, 55 metres out. Wobbles it in towards Murphy. A clean pick-up is what he wants. It's what he got too. Hamill under the pump. Flicks it round the body and puts through the third behind for the Blues.
Well, interestingly, that Glenn Archer has remained in defence, and I think that's an important move for North Melbourne. They need his solidarity down there, the Norm Smith medalist from last year. But across their half-forward line, they've got Crocker being picked up by Christou, Roberts at centre half-forward being picked up by Sexton, and Craig Scholl being picked up by Andrew Mackay.
And Mark Stevens has the football for North Melbourne at centre half-back. His kick holds up, and it's well marked there by Scott. Scott gets it away to Laidley. Laidley's kick in towards half forward, a little short. No mark to Sexton. There's another Carlton player that was heavily taken down in the game against the Bombers. Kudafidis, he's got the football, handball back, not too bad. Kick forward by Whitehead, player on his own is Christou. He drops what looked to be a fairly simple mark. Williams very cleverly down the wing, taken there by Hamill. In trouble, Christou got the hand pass away to D'Ulio. He is not able to control it before it goes over for a throw-in. David Parkin in screen, and one of my old teammates, Adrian Gallagher, there just off to the right. Terrific player for the Blues he was. Don't worry about that, Gags. Current temperature, 11 degrees, expected to get down to 9. It's been quite cold here in Melbourne today, and I don't think it's going to get much better as the evening wears on by that prediction. Michael Sexton. Gee, it'll be interesting. He was, I'm sure he was knocked pretty close to unconscious last week, and so was Capriali. And usually when players are knocked unconscious, They are given 1 week off.
Normally they are. McKernan now at centre half forward. Roberts coming into the ruck. It looks like Scholl, in fact, also. Stevens is picking up Williams as a big hustle and bustle accumulates in the middle of the ground. And Scott has picked up Craig Bradley, the acting skipper for tonight.
There's Robert Scott in that pack. It's Peter Carey with the bounce. Won by Allen. Holding on. It's going to go the way of North Melbourne. Freeborn to take it. Goes in towards half forward. Oh, the lead was perfect. And the pass was good too to John Longmire. As the rain sweeps across the ground. He goes on with the job. It's long, it's high, in towards full forward. Off hands, an opportunity for Bell. Peter Bell gets North on the board.
Gee, I don't think Adrian Whitehead would be too happy to have a look at the replay of this. He actually had the chance to knock the ball through for a rush behind and he missed it altogether.
Well, here it is. Sexton at the front. McKernan's presence already telling. And there you're right, Robbo. A nice little Rovers goal there by Corey Bell. And we'll see more of them tonight.
First goal of the game, kicked by Peter Bell. Up high was Allen. Kicked forward there by Scott. Towards half forward. Oh. Up high was Sexton. Good mark over the top there of Craig Scholl. Michael Sexton, he'd be happy to get that one. A clean possession. He's kicked out towards the wing. Brilliantly outmarked was Williams by Stevens. And he pumps it back in towards half forward. Out comes Mark Roberts and he takes an equally as good a mark. Hand pass to Laidley. Laidley to the front of the square. Back there is Crocker and Christou. It's knocked away. Could be gathered by Allison. Back onto his favoured left side and he gets the second goal of the game. Great roving goal there by Brett Allison. North lead 2 straight. Carlton 3 behinds.
Well, it's probably going to be decided by the Crummers this game. And we see Peter Bell getting an early goal followed by Brett Allison. That is a terrific goal. Nobody from Carlton, though, attacking him on his left side. And we saw one of their players run past looking for the right side, but he was always going to swing round to the centre of the ground to favour his preferred side.
Sort of start North Melbourne want, Wayne Schwass.
Yeah, it's a good start. It's only early though, but the boys seem to be sticking to their guns at the moment, but hopefully they continue the form. 9
points is the margin as they try and rip it out of the middle. Stevens and Laidley in the thick of things. Robert Scott there also, and acting captain Anthony Rock for North Melbourne.
Tough as old boots, Anthony Rock.
There's a few that fit that category.
Yep.
In that lineup, that's for sure. Laidley has it taken by Caporiali. He's in trouble. Robert says ball. Robert Scott also asks the question, but no. Carlton favoured, as far as punters are concerned, at this stage to win this game. You saw the outlays for $1 investment, but not by a huge margin. Scholl couldn't take it. Rice almost did. Still at the bottom of the pack. Williams and Bradley picked themselves up.
Gee, the weight of money there, as far as the punters concerned, would have been controlled by Carey's absence, surely.
Yep, they've had a lot to do with it. Still in the middle. Stevens has a fresh air shot. Laidley also tried to flick it on. But this maybe is going to be the pattern.
Free kick away here, Craig Scholl, I think. No, North Melbourne's
going to North. Laidley picked it out from the bottom of the pack. Bradley's in front, stands his ground. Was pushed, said the umpire, and he'll get a free kick at half back. Been a wonderful player. Highly decorated, 3 times best and fairest at Carlton, 3 times best and fairest at Port Adelaide. Beautifully done by Matt Clappay. Off to Andrew McKay. Doesn't kick a lot of goals, but this would be nice. I guess that's maybe why he doesn't kick a lot of goals.
That's interesting. He took a few extra steps there, and the North Melbourne player coming in on his right-hand side, surely that must have put him off as far as his direction was concerned.
Turns 27 next Monday. McKay as Mick Martin brings it back into play for North Melbourne. Blues have the numbers. It's Ratton who chips it high in towards the full forward zone once again, back towards the defence of Martin. He does it well as he soccers off the ground, tries to get clear. Laidley also runs out of room. Another throw in.
Yes, and interesting to see the Glenn Manton getting a free kick across their half-forward line, and there's Greg Williams getting himself involved in the action once again, pulling Laidley out of the competition. But John Longmire doing lots of running, and there he is taking the ruck. Manton following him all the way down.
Chance there for Bell. Well, it really wasn't much of a chance, was it? Peter Bell, the crummer who kicked the first goal of the game. And the people here at the football tonight, well rugged up. 2 goals North, coming from Peter Bell and Brett Ellison. The ball spills for McKay. Bell, tackled by Williams, ball spills free. Stevens close to the line, still kept in play. Clappe, now Bradley. It is obviously difficult to control that football. So,
and a couple of other positional moves, Robbo, of some interest. Peter Bell has been picking up Ratton in the middle of the ground. And Mark Stevens, someone who was considered a chance to play at centre-half forward, is in fact playing on Peter Dean at centre-half back. Peter Dean centre-half forward for Carlton over the last few weeks.
Koutafidis, Ratton, still close to the line. Bell has the ball, kicks it back into the middle. A little bit risky. Dulio, Ellison. Chance for McGuan. Handball off. Manton loves to kick a goal. Goes for the long one and misses. So the Blues not having much luck as far as their shooting for goal is concerned. They've kicked 4 behinds. North Melbourne at 2 straight.
Under 12 minutes remaining in this first quarter here at the MCG. Just to complete round 2. Strong mark taken by Martin Pike in his 62nd game with his new club. Comma after game, Robbo. To centre wing. McKernan was working hard. So too Sexton for their respective sides. McGuan almost threw it away. The umpire said no, we'll play on. Scholl does. It kicks it high in towards half forward. They go steaming towards it. Manton was one of the first there. Got a hand to it. Almost held it. DeLulio tackles as the ball is kicked towards goal by Mark Roberts into the pocket. Rice props over it. Has a bit of time. Gets himself clear. Goes towards the half-back line and Koutafidis props in front but can't take it. Whitnell gets a hurried kick only as far as Martin. Mickey gives it away towards Stevens. That's Anthony. He pumps it inside 50 once again. The pack is there. Rock does the scouting. Down to Laidley, close to the boundary line. Keeps it in play. Hugging the line. He goes in towards full forward. It ricochets off the knee and over the line. Left forward pocket. With North Melbourne. 2 goals. Kicked by Brett Allison and Peter Bell, who booted their first. Carlton 4 behinds. McKernan at the back. Allen in front. Another throw in. Matt Allen. Looks set to take over from Justin Madden. Allen again defends. .32 is Adrian Whitehead. As the Carlton bench look on. Luke O'Sullivan, you can see there on the far left. This is his 49th game. When you consider he made his debut back in 1988. It's been a long, hard road as that snap by Freeborn misses to the left. First blemish goes on the board for the Roos as Ange Christie.
And I think I may have mistaken Aaron Hamill for Peter Dean because he's being picked up by Mark Stevens, and Dean, as we just saw, is on the bench.
See, that was a good clean mark, wasn't it, for what we thought was a greasy ball, although the rain has well, weakened a little bit, and the ball looks as though it may have dried off a bit.
And did it from behind too, Robbo. Flat-looking punt kick in towards full forward. Great roving by Roberts. He should goal. Oh, he misses to the left.
Great piece of play though, wasn't it? And North Melbourne do look to have lots of run in the legs. They've got the most mobile big man out on the track in Corey McKernan. But it's not going to be a great night for tall players, not a great night for overhead marking. So I think it's, as the bookmakers had it, a pretty even Steven game. Carlton favoured slightly going into it. Greg Williams continues to prove that he's the #1 player in popularity stakes here at the MCG.
Well, his resolve is going to be tested, isn't it? Because you can just sense from that the North Melbourne fans are going to give him plenty of curry all night. Whitnell was up high. Kick off the ground there by Matt Allen. Over for a boundary throw in. And, yes, cover up. Obviously still coming down, the rain, even if it is slightly now. Gee, it came down heavily early in the first quarter. So Whitnell being forced to do the ruck work. Anthony Stevens, well, was that disguised? Yes, says the umpire. So the boundary umpire will throw it in. 2 goals, 2 to 4 behinds.
And over the last couple of years, North Melbourne have run a trio of taggers or run with players on Greg Williams. Anthony Stevens at present has him. I wonder if they'll swap it round at quarter time.
Nearly taken there by Brett Allison. Chance here for McKernan. Little tap on, taken by Ratton. Back to Allen. His kick, intercepted by Rock. Knocks it out for Freeborn. He's not able to get it clear either. Good ball handling there by Whitnell in the finish. The high kick towards half forward. Nearly marked. It's a free kick anyway. Going to be paid to North Melbourne. The advantage is with them. So Pike takes it away from left half back. Kicks towards half forward. That's a good mark to Sexton. Third in line. Maybe the aid of those gloves. Who knows? They obviously wear them for a particular reason. In these conditions, it could be an advantage. Kick by Sexton is being marked by Koutafidis. Koutafidis is between wing and right half forward. He kicks into the pocket. Good lead, good pass. Hamill not able to get on the end of it. And well contested there by Mark Stevens.
Pretty good defensive work, wasn't it, in the end?
Yes, my word.
And you think that Anthony Koutafidis perhaps owes Carlton one after last week. He was fairly quiet in a big opening match. Missed a goal late in the match.
Flicked it over the back. North, however, have the numbers. Crocker, who's struggled through an injury-riddled career, to his credit, and he's done it really well. Ronnie DeLulio chips them inside 50, but Ange finds the piece of soap a little too slippery.
Well, you can usually see body language tells you a lot, doesn't it? I mean, he knew he probably should have taken that mark.
So a throw in right on the 50.
Again?
Yep. Blakey trying to hold it up. Freeborn in over the top. Oh, they bounce on it. Williams was in there strongly too. And finally, Rowan Saws comes in and decides to take charge.
There's a little bit going on out there, eh?
Yeah. I think a couple of words may have been said then. There's Stevens and Williams. The bounce. In Carlton's attacking zone, just. Koutafidis out. The back door he goes. Oh, Williams waited and it goes back towards Koutafidis again. He wobbles it in towards full forward. Over the top it goes towards goal and over on the full. No, despite the requests, a throw-in in the right forward pocket.
Great combination by the goal umpire and the boundary umpire, eh?
David King wearing 34 for North. There's Pike doing the ruck work up against Koutafidis. Rock over his head towards Archer. Mickey Martin lends him good assistance and Martin pumps one high up towards Allison. DeLulio used the body nicely, but it's been taken away from him.
Push out.
Oh, you're kidding.
Well, that was a decision. He clearly did use the arms.
Allison spears it into half forward. Now, there were 3 Carlton players in line there, and the first one was Michael Sexton.
Well, Sexton was missed, I would have thought last week when he went off the ground, but his kick finds Whitnell. Whitnell short. Just slipping over there was Koutafidis. Gathering for North is Pike. Pike's kick to half forward. Sexton in again, anticipating brilliantly across the half back line, and he kicks towards half forward. Equally as well done there at half back for North by David King. So North Melbourne's defence working well.
Sorry, Robbo, there is a perception amongst the league clubs that Mick Martin is a far better fullback than a centre half back, and not surprisingly Lance Whitnell has dragged him out to centre half back.
There's another great mark from Scholl. He's not finding the slippery ball too difficult to handle. Rice could have been taken high. Back to Manton, off to McKay.
No one there.
So he pokes it wide towards the boundary line, hoping to gain as much distance as he possibly can. Freeborn keeps it in play. He'll centre it. It passes Williams and finds Blakey. He sneaks away from McGuan. Then goes long in towards half forward. Again, Carlton have the numbers to defend, although Sexton is claimed.
Free kick back there, Sandy. I think the umpire was going to pay the advantage until Sexton was caught.
To the outer side, DeLulio. Has a bit of time and space. Looks towards Whitnell at left half forward. Martin, the effective spoiler. Freeborn is the assist. Martin pokes it out wide. And eventually over the line.
When DeLulio kicked the ball, I think in that situation he could have nearly done a little bit better by carrying it further instead of kicking it to a one-on-one. He wasn't going to be met by anyone, and I think maybe carrying it a little bit further might have been the advantage for the Blues.
On the sidelines, Robbo, a young boy you're interested in seeing play tonight, Adam White, wearing the number 30 strip for Carlton. Looks as though he's preparing to come on.
Greg Williams has gone down to full forward. He's taken Anthony Stevens with him, and Peter Dean, looking like the Michelin man with all that rubber on, is also down there now, and he's been picked up by Mark Stevens.
So Koutafidis gets it down. Bradley chases after, gets around, hand pass, clap A, gets out of strife. No. Good gang tackling by the North Melbourne team. The ball spills now for Bell. Could be run down by Bradley. Blakey's in trouble. Back to Bell. He's caught. Oh. Gee whiz, he's gone, but it might be too high. It might have been just 2 or 3 tackles were all right, but the third one, I think, may have been the one the umpire gave the decision on. And Bell kicks it forward. Taken there by Allen. Then Manton. Back to Christou. Christou's kick will land on the wing. No mark to Bell. Still players finding it difficult. There's White into it straight away. Sexton again. Possession number for Sexton, 6. A great mark taken by Dean at centre half forward for the Blues. One of the most determined players ever to pull on a Carlton Guernsey's Peter Dean. Ratton's in strife. Archer's got him. Could be nearly a free kick, is it? No. Play goes on. Martin goes and gets the trainer and keeps the ball in when it should have gone out. White short. Whitnell, does he take the mark? No. He's been paid the free kick. Well, there was some frenetic football there, and it finishes with Lance Whitnell. Short kick. It's been marked by Koutafidis. Koutafidis, 2 marks coming up for his third kick. 2 hand passes.
And a great pass, this one, from Lance Whitnell, a young man of immense skill and a fair bit of composure. And we saw that evident so many times last week. 4 goals in a debut game in front of 80,000 people. What a start. And after a slow start tonight, he's just got himself into this game. But an important kick for Carlton, who have yet to register a goal.
Koutafidis from well within distance, and the accuracy is perfect. No, it's not. So it's another behind to the Blues. 5. 2-2 plays 5 behinds.
3.5 minutes remaining in this first quarter as King brings it back into play. Goes straight down the middle. Bradley was at the back. He needs assistance. Sexton was there, tried to slap it, but it's back to Bradley again. Scott tries to go over the top. White working hard. Just come onto the ground, replacing Murphy, as Robbo said. Williams flicks it on delightfully. Sexton spirals it to half forward. They're inside 50 again. Danger here as Koutafidis gets another chance. Drops short. Peter Dean was held. He didn't have the football, and he's got a free kick.
Well, there's been a suggestion at Carlton that perhaps Anthony Koutafidis has got a little bit of a touch of the yips in front of goal. So here he is handing the ball over to Peter Dean, who isn't noted as a goal kicker. But he's a pretty good golfer and a great putter, I'm told, Robbo, so perhaps he can put one through.
Don't worry, he'll be lining it up. He'd love to kick this goal, I'm sure, Peter Dean.
Game number 217 for Peter Dean. As Robbo said, he's been a fantastic man for Carlton. Kicking from 40 metres, starts it right and almost shaves the post, but on the wrong side. So they're frittering away here in front of goal with just 2.5 minutes remaining. Wayne and Tim, a couple of vital minutes here for both sides.
Well, yes, Wayne, what about Michael Sexton starting to get a lot of positions across half-back? Will that be worrying Dennis?
Yeah, it's certainly an area where Dennis will pay attention to at quarter time, because he seems to be getting a fair bit of ball, and as you can see, just setting him up again.
By Dean. Sorry, Wayne, but the passage of play there You were talking about Sexton. He got the ball, kicked it forward, and have a look at that.
Yeah, Sexton's possession that time across the half-forward line. He's now had 8 kicks, 1 handball, 3 marks, so he's been a vital player. Generally kicks 1 goal per 10 games, Peter Dean.
And he's got it. So the Blues get their first goal on the scoreboard. Very late in the first term, but it's a tight game. 2-2 plays 1-6.
So statistically, Peter Dean will kick his next goal in round 12. However, he'd be pretty delighted with that one. Not only has he gone up for mark of the day, and it's going to be tough to beat that one under the greasy conditions we've got today, but he's kicked Carlton's first, and they're just now trailing by 2 points.
2 minutes remaining. I mentioned this was a very vital time, a very vital stage of the quarter. Carlton getting their first goal and Rice putting them into attack again. Now it's with Bradley from a standing start. He wobbles it towards the 50. North defence under pressure. Come back towards Stevens on centre wing. It's going to be okay. This is Anthony Stevens. He looks towards Scholl, but intercepting once again. A strong mark taken by Allen. Just floated in front.
Jared, this guy has improved, hasn't he, over the last 6 or 7 months?
It's going to be a long, hard winner for Justin Madden to get back into this team.
Kicks towards centre wing. Freeborn in front. Koutafidis at the back. Gives it to Whitnell off to Camporeale. Down towards the 50, and here he is again. Peter Dean. Too far out to score. Kicks into the man on the mark. Wobbled back towards half-back and taken over by Dean Laidley. So, and
Who's
almost into
there?
Dipper. Our boundary rider who's down there.
You can't keep a good man down, can you, Sandy?
Kick coming from Mark Stevens originally as we go back to the throw-in. It's on centre wing. Whitnell up early, trying to go over the top of Corey McKernan. Was unsuccessful. Ratton's at the back. He gives it away to Williams. Like lightning, he might have to soccer this one forward towards Bradley, who propped over the ball just for a moment. Eventually it comes out towards Bell. Look out! He ducks again. He gets clear.
Umpire Wake.
Rock. Scholl at the bottom. Bell working hard, but under real pressure, he kicks out of bounds on the full.
And Steve McBurney paying that free kick, but Peter Bell has now been tackled twice in this game and received 2 free kicks. Both times have been for high tackles, and both times he's ducked his head.
Christou, a good kick. Gets about 45 metres. Whitnell can't break away. Ball for Bradley. Just gets it through the back. Archer. Scott tackle. Ball still to be won. Clappe quickly to no one in particular. Great diving effort by Anthony Stevens. He has got capital C on the front of his jumper for courage. No doubt about that. Anthony Stevens to Anthony Rock. Rock out wide. This is Mark Stevens for North Melbourne at right half back. A little right foot kick into the path of Roberts. He's left Christou. And Roberts kick into the pocket. Too high for Longmire? No, it's not. It's a great effort in the finish. A juggling attempt not paid. Oh, dear me. McKay defends. Williams again. Spectacular hands to Sexton. And the siren has sounded. It has been a very, very tight 20-odd minutes in this game. North Melbourne have the advantage. It is only a slight one. They've kicked 2 goals, 2. Carlton a 1-goal 6. It is a 2-point advantage to the Kangaroos.
And their crowd was absolutely aghast, and so they should have been. That was a mark, umpire. Have a fair dinkum. Look at it. Absolutely greasy conditions. He's had it for 5 seconds, and that should have been paid. And that would have been a clear shot at goal for the Horse.
The bush over the other side, Tim and Wayne. An intense first quarter, Tim.
Yes, there certainly was, but Wayne was also mentioning during that quarter the North Melbourne trainer that the ball hit may be looking for a new job.
He could be looking for a new job, especially if we lose, but you know, hopefully the boys can continue their good form today.
Okay, Sandy, back to you.
Thanks, Tim. Robert Scott gets the first kick of the second quarter, only as far as Murphy.
Might be interesting to get a comment from Wayne later on about Corey McKernan, who just seems to have struggled to get into the game, and perhaps that knee not 100%.
Murphy's kick back towards half forward, or Clappe was an early flyer. Stevens tries to go through. That was Mark Stevens, and he's quickly on Diesel Williams. Another bounce with umpire Stephen McBurney, 29-year-old solicitor.
Anderson onto the ground.
McKernan beaten. Williams caught. Gets the hand pass away and it's okay. Wobbly old punt kick's okay too. There's the first one of the second quarter. Is it from Camberreale? Another behind. Well, they're frittering away these chances. 1 goal, 7. As Danilchenko and Crocker look on. It's David King who'll bring it back into play.
And I think the third player on the bench for North Melbourne, Sandy, might be Brett Chandler.
Yep.
Saw Dennis Pagan having a bit of a chat at quarter time, and it looked like he, with a tracksuit top on, as the ball is contested at centre half forward for the Blues. Rain continues to come down, tumbling down, and gee, that just makes that football a little bit more difficult to handle.
Great game of cat and mouse going on up forward for North Melbourne. Roberts has tried to take Sexton out of the play, but at this bounce, Sexton's run right into Carlton's forward line, dragging Roberts from the square.
Gee, top effort, and that has to have been paid, yes. The mark is paid to Archer. Anthony Stevens just trying to get rid of McKay. Now Archer's able to run on and kicks wide to right half forward. Big punch from Christou. Oh, gathered by Clappe. He's dragged to the ground. Scholl tries to move it on. The ball spills to the back. Allison, still hard to hang on to. Bell. Spills to Laidley, now Allison. Archer Shepherd's wide head. Punch again, this time from Manton at the back. Taken by McGuan, hand pass to McKay. McKay down the ground. Marking contest, no, there's none. Martin kept Whitnell out and McKernan took basically an unopposed mark. McKernan's kick into the centre, should be, and he's marked by Archer. He's got a player at right half forward and making good ground as Rock. Swooping on it, Manton, didn't take it with him. Sexton, hand pass, not too bad. Christou, good vision, found Manton. Manton able to stand and deliver, but still to a 1-on-2 against the Blues. Koutafidis at the back, nearly got hold of it. Ratton's doing well in the clinches, forces it forward. A little kick by Mickey Martin, brilliantly gathered by Koutafidis. He runs to the left-hand point of the
too far.
Oh, you're kidding. Is that too far?
Well, I think what would have upset David Parkin also was that Anthony Koutafidis ignored a couple of free players, including Peter Dean and Greg Williams, midway up the 50-metre forward zone, and he probably had to run about 60 metres to kick a goal then.
Scott was going towards Rock. Ratton intercepts, but now it's Archer. Quiet in the first term, but he defended well and had Murphy taken off the ground. Sexton couldn't take it cleanly. Goes in again. There's Murphy back on for the second quarter. Manton hand pass over the top to Allen is okay. The Carlton defence working overtime. Ronnie DeLulio back to Murphy. Gives a little ground as he goes from the back pocket towards White. Beautifully done. Where's this boy from, Robbo?
He's just from the under-18s, but I'm waiting for Hamill to get it because I know where he comes from.
Tuggeranong, is it? Oh, wait for that. It's going to be one of the greatest raps of all time.
Ooh, Corey, be careful. You swing like that and hit the bloke and you'll give the kick away.
Well, Christou's off and Hamill's on.
Well, he is from Tuggeranong, that magnificent town in the ACT.
Johnny Longmire also off the ground, and he's been replaced by Brett Chandler.
There's a great mark from Scholl, who took a couple of duties in the first quarter.
Yes. 3-1 grabbers.
Plays on quickly, goes in towards full forward, towards Roberts. He was in front, got a hand to it as Allison slides over the boundary line.
Mark Roberts just wondering why the free kick wasn't forthcoming,
well,
and I would have thought there was plenty of
gee,
justification in the ask.
Throw in on the 50-metre line. Archer uses the body, comes out the back door towards Ratton, sneaks away from Laidley. Murphy to McKay, but beautifully smothered. Trouble here for Carlton, although it just passes Bell and he's got to back up on Ratton, who pokes it in towards the centre. Now an opportunity for Anderson. King, a standing start into half forward again. Sexton holds it up. The chiropractor from Sandhurst is very quiet, but he's very efficient as White takes the mark. On half back, Adam White kicks towards centre wing. Speaking of good marks, how's that from Koutafidis?
It's a great one-on-one, this one. It's been a good battle all night, but just great strength there by Cooter and good ball control.
From centre wing, goes towards McGuan. King wearing him like a glove, and Stevens over the line. Christou off, injured. Dipper, how is he?
Yes, Andy, he started the game with a bruised heel, and for those who've had a bruised heel, they're very painful. and in that last clash he got a kick, and now they've taken him off the ground to get it strapped up.
Speaking of coming off, Mark Roberts is off. Jason Danilchenko is on for North Melbourne. Clappe around his body, but straight down the throat of Peter Bell.
Yes, Peter Bell, the first goal kicker of the game. But as far as goals are concerned, there's been a bit of a drought in this second term. Still one to be kicked. Scott. Just, isn't it so important that players just get a little touch on the football? That was there, and it went to Bradley. Eventually, it now comes to Anthony Stevens. Bell was in the play again. The ball near the centre. Bradley and Scott. Scott to Anderson again, of an important little touch. Now Blakey. Well, King ran into his own man, but able to control the football. Kicks in towards the forward pocket area. Punched away by Manton, getting back Whitehead. Again, an important little touch. This time it was Archer. The Blues were away, but Archer's little touch was important, and it's kept it within scoring distance for the Kangaroos.
And Archer now having a presence up forward. When you look at the scoreboard, it may well be that 8 goals wins this footy match.
Umpire finds a free kick, and it's going to North Melbourne to be taken by Scholl.
And it's shots like these that really do count on a night like this. There's not going to be too many free shots at goal. And there's clearly hanging on there from Hamill.
Well, I guess that's the advantage of the umpire being at the front of the contestants in the ruck. And Scholl's kick looks pretty good. It's a goal to North. First goal to Craig Scholl. He's been pretty good so far in the game. His 6th kick, his first, and North's 3rd goal.
Well, she's a pretty heavy penalty to pay, but this was just inexperience from Aaron Hamill, and that's a position Justin Madden is such an expert at. Matthew Allen also could well have pushed down into that area. But a goal coming gives them a handy lead now of 7 points.
20 plays at 13. As we go back in the middle, again it's won by Allen down to Ratton. Carlton surge towards the 50. Out comes Mickey Martin though, bashes it in towards Bradley initially. Tried to poke it forward, but they lose it out the back door. It's to Scott. Martin couldn't take it. Socket off the ground by King. Back towards Danilchenko, who's just come onto the arena. Here's Sexton under real pressure. Danilchenko gets another chance. To half forward, Archer. North Melbourne goes steaming towards full forward. Manton could have been holding on. The umpire says no, play on. Bell does, and bang, runs into real trouble. Still at the 25-metre mark, picked up by Danilchenko. He snaps, but he's away to the left and one behind.
Well, Peter Bell copped everything there, and he's up on his feet. Pretty tough and tardy is Peter Bell. And this is what happened to him. Almost similar to the Craig O'Brien incident in last year's grand final, so lucky that knee didn't connect.
Been watching Allison too. He appears to have a slight arm problem. We'll keep an eye on him. DeLulio takes it. McKay is there with him, but they make a meal of that one. Picked up by Archer. It is a very slippery ball, however. Oh, Freeborn may make them pay. He goes into the open goal.
Julio's in trouble.
2 quick goals in this low-scoring game is like 5 on a dry day.
Well, the trainer there pointing to his knee, and you see him just sliding there. He may well have done a medial ligament. The trainer definitely pointing to his knee. May well have just been a tweak, but what a price to pay. 2 errors in this quarter have cost Carlton 2 goals. That may cost them the match.
Well, it's 14 points now, the margin. Accuracy for North, 4-3. Inaccuracy for the Blues, 1-7. McKernan jumping, but Stevens dispossessed by Ratton, and the umpire will have to bounce once again. Williams just giving Brett Ratton a pat of acclamation. Ratton works hard in the clinches. 3 kicks, 6 hand passes, 2 tackles, and 1 hit out. So he's done a bit of everything, Brett Ratton. McKernan gets his left hand to it. Williams, Allen. Kick forward by Camporeale, marked there by McGuan. McGuan, he's had a couple of touches, but more so in the first term, not much in the second term. It covers the players at the goal line. Getting back is Anderson, tackled by Bradley. Martin, nearly run down by Dean. The ball spills now, out wide Clappe and Blakey, but over for a throw-in.
Well, that was a pretty fierce tackle by Craig Bradley. his opponent had prior opportunity to get rid of the ball, and the disposal looked like a fumble to me, so perhaps a little bit lucky not to be penalised.
McGuan couldn't take it cleanly. A chance for Rock. North Melbourne go over the centre towards Archer. Great spoil by McKay. Sees them hold it up. DeLulio, is he okay? Almost has his pants ripped off as he gets the hand pass away. Hamill comes wide to Clappe. Clappe's on centre wing. He finds Brett Ratton to left half forward. Koutafidis was his target. It passes him as DeLulio leaves the arena and Dean Rice is back on. Obviously a problem for Ronnie DeLulio with that knee. I'm sure the Dipper will check it out.
I think he might be talking to the coach for half a second or three too.
McGuan eventually got it out towards Bradley. Mickey Martin tried to soccer it off the ground. So tough to control. Martin goes again, but straight to Williams. He snaps in towards the pocket. It's wide, too wide, as Dean Laidley sees it go over the line.
Williams now 5 handballs and 2 kicks, and his opponent Anthony Stevens 5 kicks and 1 handball. So pretty tight in the clinches.
It must be disconcerting for him though, mustn't it? You know, to be out there and be booed all the time he goes near the ball.
Probably got used to it after the last 5 years, Robert.
14 points the margin. Stevens belts it clear, or is it? Koutafidis has it. He needs help towards Ratton. Locks it up, but he's surrounded by players. Laidley's at the bottom of the pack with the football. Murphy's there too, and Ronnie DeLulio shakes his shoulders. The knee. Good doctor.
Well, the doc's there just examining his patella. Maybe there was a suggestion that may have dislocated. He was also having a look on the inside of his knee, and that's where the medial ligament is.
Scott's kick is to the half-back flank, where it's another North Melbourne free kick. The advantage is not going to be paid. So King throws it back to Glenn Archer.
And just to clarify the patella, that's your kneecap, Sandy.
Up towards left half forward. McKernan got a hand to it. Dean Rice did also. Scholl out in front of Allison. Just keeps it in play. Got it away from Dean Rice for the moment. Bell gets crunched again, but he manages to get the hand pass out towards Brett Allison. Allison towards goal. Is off target. One behind. Well, in conditions like tonight, it could easily be confused with the propeller, Jared.
Exactly right. As the patella man there just tests it out. And the most difficult thing there for Ronnie was getting past the Big Dipper.
Oh, not such a good kick there by Glenn Manton. Gathered by Archer. Left foot snap by Archer. He made up for it. It wasn't a very good kick, and he's marked safely on his chest. Here's Glenn Manton out to McKay. McKay runs down towards half back, but kicks basically from the back pocket out wide. Good mark taken by Matty Allen. 2:24. Scholl for North Melbourne. Matt Allen for the Blues. Back to Williams. Williams off the left foot. Kicks towards half forward. Big punch by Martin. Back towards the centre. Camporeale dispossessed. Ratton there to try and hold up North. They've got the numbers at ground level, but not able to break away. So the umpire will bounce. Right on the sponsor's logo.
And just saw Ange Christou running around the boundary line. There he is. He's been up to the rooms. Has come back with a dressing gown on, but one suggests he's had a little bit of juice pumped into the leg.
Big punch away there by Murphy, but underneath all that is Pike for the Kangaroos.
9 minutes remaining in this first half. As we wind down round 2, what a fascinating round of football it's been. Murphy caught at the back, out comes Koutafidis. Just sneaks clear, then chips towards right half forward. He finds Williams. The Diesel goes on with it. That's not a good kick. King marks and decides to play on. He takes on Peter Dean, and Dean will ride him all the way. This is Blakey to centre wing. Scholl has taken 3 excellent marks so far tonight. Kicks towards right half forward. Speaking of excellent marks, there's a beauty from Freeborn. He plays on. Hamill gets him, gives it to Danilchenko. He heads for home, and a goal to North Melbourne. Jason Danilchenko gets his first, and North Melbourne stretch their lead.
And that was a great goal set up by the North Melbourne defence. David King, he needed an outlet, and he got one in John Blakey. This is further down. Interestingly, he decides to play on here Glenn Freeborn. He nearly sold himself into trouble. He was lucky he had some support running in Jason Danilchenko. And Robbo, the Blues will be starting to worry.
He's not a bad interchange player. Not a bad interchange player, Danilchenko, and gets the goal for North Melbourne. Allen knocks it on. Scott and Bradley. Scott gets rid of it. Knocked on by Whitnell was pretty clever. Camporeale not able to get there. Pike just kicks it away. Now Anderson. Awkward bouncing ball. Anderson quickly onto his right foot. Kicks for touch and finds it.
It was fantastic running by John Blakey to give King that outlet.
Blues make another change. White off and Dulio back on.
On centre wing. McKernan front spot. Allen gets it down towards Whitehead, who somehow gets through some heavy traffic. Floats it high over the head of Whitnell. Martin leads in the race. Here comes Mickey McGuan. Look out. They clash. This leaves Whitnell free. Off to Ronnie DeLulio. Forget the crook knee. He's heading for home. And another behind.
Gee, the disease has set in, hasn't it?
Well, I'm afraid so. It would appear that way at the moment, Robbo. 1-8. They've each had 9 effective scoring shots for goal.
That should have been one. That's a costly miss. And it's really just been mistakes by Carlton that's separating these two teams. One in attack there by Ron, and a couple in defence have led to a couple of North Melbourne goals.
David King kicks back in, goes over the head of Matt Clappe and was perfect for Robert Scott. Scott looks towards centre wing. Rock got in front of Whitehead.
Well done, Anderson.
Who finds Chandler, who kicks to half forward, and that's Corey McKernan. McKernan 70 metres out. He kicks a long bomb in towards full forward. A big pack of players is up. And it's over in the right forward pocket. David Parkin and Adrian Gallagher in front of him. Schollers at the back. He's not required. Archer to Bell. Peter Bell shaves the post.
Well, Wayne Schwass, what about Corey McKernan?
Yeah, I think Corey's been shifted off. Obviously, Michael Sexton was providing a fair bit of drive. But I think more notable is the input that Glenn Archer's had since he's been moved up forward.
What about that one? That would please you, wouldn't it, that kick in?
Oh, please me more if my little mate here can jag it.
Oh, he loves a goal, this bloke, doesn't he? Anthony Rock's got the football. The kick in was meant for the Carlton defender, but Rock chipping in is marked well within scoring distance. He's only about 30 metres out directly in front. O'Sullivan has come onto the ground for the Blues, but the focus is on Anthony Rock. If he kicks this goal, it will be a bad blow for the Blues. He's got it. So 5 goals now, 4 goals in this second term to North Melbourne. Carlton still yet to add to their goal tally.
And just to add statistical weight to Wayne Schwass's comments, 8 possessions to Glenn Archer in this term, so he's had a pretty big impact, as he suggested. But once again, we see Carlton mistakes just adding further insult to injury. A very poor choice of kick from defence.
4 goals, 3 to 2 points in this quarter, North Melbourne's way. McKernan tries to blast them out of the centre once again. Rice is claimed. The ball spills free. Well done by Peter Bell, because he applied the tackle and then he kicked it down towards Danilchenko and Rock. Danilchenko beaten on this occasion. Bradley takes the hand pass, swings wide towards centre wing, and a strong mark taken by Chandler. Goes short. It's okay to Robert Scott. This is high in towards Danilchenko again. Bradley tidies up to DeLulio. Thought about Murphy, but now goes longer towards centre wing. Blakey sits over it, then scoops it out the back like tunnel ball. Williams under pressure from Robert Scott. Anthony Stevens gets out the hand pass hurriedly towards Blakey. Now Bell close to the boundary line. Somehow keeps it in play. Kicks in towards Anthony Rock. And Wayne Schwass's little mate is going to have another crack at stretching this North Melbourne lead. Kicked one just a few minutes ago. This is his 139th game. He's the acting captain tonight. Goes into the square. Danilchenko is the flyer from behind. It's eventually flicked over by Hamill from behind. 6-6 plays 1-8 as Christou comes back onto the ground.
All the playmakers are in those kangaroo colours, aren't they?
Yeah.
The Blues just seem to be, everything they're doing is just defending.
Yeah, nobody's had an outstanding quarter for Carlton. Rondolulio coming off the ground now. He did look to be hobbling somewhat, but nobody with more than 5 possessions for Carlton in this term, and that's well below par for them.
Here's another chance for North Melbourne. Mark taken by Archer. They just couldn't break away from where Bradley had kicked into. North Melbourne just pressing forward, and the opportunity for Glenn Archer to kick North Melbourne's 7th goal. Well, the kick came from about 35 to 40 metres further from goal, and Archer, fortuitously for North Melbourne, was sitting there and took a safe chest mark. I think he'd like to kick this too, Glenn Archer. He's a goal kicker. His shot for goal is pretty close. He's happy it's a goal to North. Bloke in the crowd there was pretty happy too. But North Melbourne go marching on. They're 7-6 to 1-8.
And Glenn Archer continues his match-winning quarter this second term. Nice little snap shot there, and Archer still without a man giving him sufficient attention. Goes back, and he's a pretty good converter, Glenn Archer. He doesn't miss too many opportunities.
So the Blues struggling with just 2 behinds for the quarter. Allen wins it out of the middle this time to Ratton. He kicks down towards half forward. Blakey chops it off. The forward line of Carlton non-existent. Stevens is away. Shepherding sees him clear. That's Anthony Stevens into half forward. Michael Sexton.
And it has been one-way traffic inside 50 metres this quarter. 15 North Melbourne, 7 for Carlton. In the first term it was 12 to North, 13 for Carlton.
Rice to centre wing will look towards Christou. Belted over the line, so Allen will go back to contest the throw-in with Corey McKernan. The old Jaws going 9 of the dozen in the North box.
What about the eyes on Tony Elshaw? He's trying to spot plenty, isn't he, from the back there?
Right on centre wing. Williams tries to go through. He does, but without the ball. It's taken by Scott. Scholl is bowled. Laidley's taken out of it for the moment. Rock. Archer again, look out. Hamill's got to beat a couple. Archer gets clear, or does he? Onto the left foot goes Glenn Archer. A snap in towards full forward. Is off target.
Andrew McKay has just got to get a bit tighter on him.
Oh, the ball's just coming down too quickly, isn't it?
Well, once again, Robbo, a ball that was overrun by the Blues in the middle of the ground. It's some pretty elementary mistakes being made by Carlton. A lot of it to do with the pressure by North Melbourne. Take nothing away from them. They have dominated this quarter.
Manton goes short to the juggling Sexton.
Even that wasn't really convincing, was it?
No, unfortunately. Luke O'Sullivan. He'll celebrate his 50th game long and hard. It's taken him long enough. Let's hope he gets there next week. Allen, clever tap on towards Clappe, who just did an underground hand pass.
There's just nothing happening, is there? You know, when the Blues do get their positions, even Bradley a couple of times earlier, right across the full back line, being forced to kick anywhere, and that's most unlike Craig Bradley.
Neil Baum's side, Melbourne, cops a lot of criticism for over-possessing the ball, but I think that's exactly what Carlton have done in defence in this term, and it's led to plenty of mistakes.
McGuan's kick goes down to half forward, but again, David King is very, very effective in defence. Puts it in front of Blakey. Tried to soccer it on because he had to beat a couple. Bell. Oh, little Peter Bell's having the time of his life as he surges it towards half forward. The Carlton players, there were 2 of them there. They were squabbling about it. Eventually Murphy comes through. Puts it out in front of Luke O'Sullivan. The Rhino gets clear. Finally, ball to ground once. 55 metres out.
Oh.
They desperately need something, and that is not the way to do
down
it.
the ground, I think, Sandy. There might be a kick in the goal square. O'Sullivan downed after he kicked the ball.
Mickey Martin being spoken to. I was following play. What happened, Robbo?
Oh, well, O'Sullivan actually backed himself, got to the 50-metre line, tried to kick the goal from that distance, and was downed after he got rid of the ball. But gee whiz, there'd be some questions asked about this decision.
Well, the drought has been broken. Their last goal was at the 25-minute mark of the first quarter.
The question I ask is, sometimes the kick is given down the ground and sometimes it comes back to the kicker.
Well, here it is on replay. And it was after it got rid of the ball, so technically I'd say the umpire right, but once again, a pretty hefty penalty to pay because Luke O'Sullivan had taken the wrong option. He should have short passed that Rice and went long.
Well, in a low-scoring game, North Melbourne 7-7, lead Carlton 2-8. There's a free kick. It's going to North Melbourne, so an infringement there. The Blues, obviously, with too many in the square when the umpire bounced the ball, so it's with Corey McKernan. 1.5 minutes left. His kick should have been marked. Was dropped by Whitehead. Bad fumbling by the Blues again. Kick forward by Allison to the pocket. Archer couldn't get there in time. So the boundary umpire will throw it in. Left forward pocket. Johnny Longmire having a spell on the bench. He's finding it a little difficult to get into the play. But let's hope his legs stand up. I mean, that's probably the best thing so far as he's concerned. Allen tries to bash it clear. Hamill just gives it up to Scott. Snapshot by Scott. Ooh, just offline. Wasn't that far away. Robert Scott's first score of the night. A behind to North.
At the present time, the possessions are 141 to Carlton and 138 to North Melbourne. So North Melbourne a lot more efficient in shots at goal per possession.
Christou to kick in. Ball spills for Murphy. Oh. In trouble. Gets the handball away, but only as far as Laidley. Laidley's high kick. Contest at half forward. Up high with Stevens. Trying to crash through Whitehead. Kick forward by Sexton.
Which way will it bounce? It's all right for Whitnell. The youngster does it against Martin. He wobbles it in towards goal. On the last line of defence is David King. May concede a behind. No, has the confidence to go on with it to the outer side and find Anthony Stevens. Stevens is off like lightning to David King. To the half-back flank. Socket off the ground. Into the arms of McKay. Precious seconds ticking away for Carlton. They desperately love another goal before half-time. That's a behind to young Lance Whitnell. His first contribution for the evening. Out of 2 goals, 9.
Not a bad way to play your second game, is it, Big
Mickey. Welcome to the big league.
Exactly.
King. With one of the last kicks for this first half. McKernan floating at the back. Anderson. On the siren. Stuart Anderson goes in at half-time with his side holding a very, very handy lead. Not yet a winning lead, but certainly a handy one, and Carlton are going to have to do something. They're going to get back into this game. Heads slightly bowed. And I would imagine David Parker will have plenty to say at half-time. North Melbourne, on the other hand, Wayne Schwass and Tim Watson, delighted, no doubt, to go in 29 points up.
What did Dennis Pagan have to say to the boys at half-time?
Dennis was very positive and just said to the boys that expect Carlton, being such a great side, to come out, give them everything, but just remain positive and focus on the things that we've been thinking and exemplifying all day.
Nice little disguise, though. Archer up the race and Crockett just now coming off the bench.
And North Melbourne steaming into attack, courtesy of Bell, down towards half-forward. Peter Dean marks across half-back.
And Greg Williams also on the bench.
A number of positional changes by Carlton as Camporeale goes to the outer side and he finds Allen. There's Glenn Archer as Allen takes his kick up towards left half forward. Clappe tries to swipe it away from McKernan forward. Is unsuccessful. Camporeale another chance after Sexton found it a little too hot. In towards the 50. Now there's been a whistle. It's coming back and it's going to be a North Melbourne free kick.
Gee, there's some tiggy touchwoods, aren't there? I mean, in a game of football, there must be some tremendous decisions that can be made by umpires, but sometimes they just, I don't know.
In towards the centre. Stevens outpoints Bradley and plays on quickly. Danger here for Carlton. as North have it on 50. Allison, a superb pickup. Kicks in towards goal, but he starts it right, and it stays right.
And now Crocker coming back off the ground, Glenn Archer going on. So if the AFL are going to continue with separating the clubs and having Carlton come out of the Melbourne rooms and North Melbourne from the Great Southern Stand, they are going to have to look at trying to get an interchange bench on the other side, because that is a clear disadvantage to the side on the far side of the ground who has to have their player run all the way around to the in front of the members.
Kick forward by Scott, hits the post. Well, Jared, just on that, what would have happened? I mean, they came out. There was plenty of time. I mean, North Melbourne were first back onto the ground after half-time. Some misunderstanding there for Glenn Archer to miss the resumption.
Well, maybe it was something as simple as leaving your mouth guard in the rooms, Robbo. These things happen, and we'll read about it tomorrow.
Well, the Blues have got away from full back. McKay's kick will land at half forward. Hamill, who's just having one of those nights. Mark Stevens able to run the ball over for a boundary throw-in. Hamill just 2 kicks and 2 hand passes, and there's Greg Williams on the bench. So the dual Brownlow medalist having a bit of a spell. Matthew Allen and Corey McKernan. Gee, McKernan looks strong, doesn't he? Let's hope there's nothing very wrong with that knee of his that he hurt the other day. Clappe, Bell, a little kick, only as far as Dean. Dean off the left foot to the 50-metre line. Hamill from behind, punches to the front. Camporeale to Whitnall, and was that too high?
No, he's pinged him. And that'll be 50.
Well, even that was red hot, wasn't it?
Ooh. I think so.
What chance did he have of...
Hardly held it. Have a look.
Dropping it, is it? Must be dropping it, surely. Well, the free kick is with North, and it's Martin. They did get a 50-metre penalty because Carlton kicked it forward after the umpire had blown his whistle. So Mickey Martin from the centre of the ground kicks it to well within scoring distance as far as North is concerned. Up over the top was Scholl, couldn't take the mark. Allison, little snap, well done. I think he spotted Scott, I'll give him the credit. I don't know whether he really had a shot for goal, but Scott's marked. Extremely difficult angle. You can see there that he's probably 3 metres outside the boundary line. And the angle, he's going to kick across goal. Danilchenko is marked. Jason Danilchenko, a goal kicker for North in the second term, and he's on his favoured left side there.
Well, so many players now from Carlton in the forward 50 or in their defensive 50. It's probably best that Jason Danilchenko assumes responsibility and goes back and has a crack.
He was trying to walk back as far as he could to try and improve the angle, but the umpire wake up there. So took him back and closed it down. Danilchenko's kick is offline. 1-2 to Danilchenko. And North Melbourne, well, they were 29 points in front at half-time, so they've opened the lead up, albeit just 2 behinds, and Brett Ellison giving the boundary umpire a bit of a bounce up there.
Unduly interfering.
Bradley kicks back in. It's okay. Marked by the big man, Allen. Goes back to Ange Christou. Starting on the ground to DeLulio. Appeared to have knee problems in the first half. Back out now and okay. Blakey couldn't hold the bouncing ball. Oh, Mickey's just about gone. No, said the umpire. He gets the benefit of the doubt. DeLulio rides the bump and tries to find Luke O'Sullivan. The Rhino keeps it in play. He hugs the boundary line. Then comes in towards half forward. Whitnall. The high flyer, but no ball in sight. King tries to soccer it clear of Camporeale. He's got time to get back and rip out the hand pass to Ratton. He's got Bradley down in the pocket. Bradley can go on and break the drought for Carlton. .39, plays 7-10, but gee, they've been hard to buy goals for the Blues.
It's the start of the long haul back if they are to get back, and that's a big if, Robbo.
Gee, how did Bradley get that far on his own? Well, Bradley kicks the first goal of the third quarter.
Dennis Bacon be asking that of Robert Scott.
So the margin is 25 points in favour of North Melbourne. McKernan bangs it forward, only as far as Shoal. Little kick off the ground. Now Pike. Pike's kick to the goal square, getting back as Sexton, and he marks. Dean and Archer. Archer has a little dip. Not much in that. Sexton's short kick is all right. Finds DeJulio. He's had a few important possessions. And this kick out wide finds Koutafidis.
This is a bloke that's got to fire up, though. He's had 10 possessions in the first half, but needs a very big second half if they're to win.
Martin gets rid of it, and it's close to the line. There's a free kick to the Blues. Looks as though it may go to Whitnell. I don't think he understands that it is his kick just yet. He does now, and Ratton gets it back to the youngster, playing just his second senior AFL game. And he kicks in towards centre half forward. In front, Koutafidis couldn't take the mark. The ball spills Whitehead, couldn't get clear. The ball kicked back for North Melbourne towards the wing. Misunderstanding there for the Blues. North get the crumbs. Bell's handball. Shoal gets past too easily. May elect to bounce. No, goes long. Kicks it in towards full forward. Denelchenko and Sexton. Allison off the ground. Goal coming up for North. Kicked by Robert Scott is a North Melbourne goal. First goal to Robert Scott. Important answer for the Kangaroos.
Yes, and a big clash out on the centre wing. It did cost Carlton this goal. Brett Ratton appears to have a broken nose. But it was unfortunate for Denelchenko there not to get a free kick, but pretty intelligent play. A little snap off the ground and results in a goal. Let's have a look at this. Glenn Mann, I mean, that's just poor peripheral vision from Glenn Mann. He should have seen his teammate coming back, and he's taking him out. I mean, it's okay to have eyes for the football, but you've still got to be smart about everything. And now Carlton one man down.
North answers the challenge. McKernan and Allen again, won by the latter, but taken by the acting captain of the Roos, Anthony Rock, towards half forward. Strong mark taken by Dean. That he probably could look at a career at acting later on.
He did hit him.
Open
Not
hand.
ever so slightly, but a bloke got 9 weeks for an open hand the other day.
True, but he wore all white. The one that copped it. Allen goes short. DeJulio still on half back. Kicks to a very congested half forward line. Out of the air goes McMartin after Rice failed to hold it. Allen up, a little too far underneath it. Flick back. Oh, great vision to find Stevens by Anderson. He goes for goal. It drops in the square. It bounces towards goal. Archer, did he get there?
That's a point.
He's got there.
Ooh.
(9-10) plays 3-9.
Great running goal by the Northerners. Anthony Stevens playing ahead of the play here, which is always a gamble, but nice little handball sets it up. This would have rolled over the line, and perhaps that would have been the smarter option for Glenn Archer, because it did look as if he carried the ball over the line, and we may well have another look at that, Robbo.
He ran it over the line.
A controversial goal has seen North Melbourne that stretched their lead, but that one could be talked about for some time because he did appear to be well over the line. However, it's a goal. That's all that matters. Play goes on. Rice to Bradley to O'Sullivan for Carlton. On the defensive side of centre wing, he floats it to half forward. A bit of pushing. Whitnell's at the back. Can Carlton answer? They desperately need a couple of quick goals. Out the back door it goes. And touched for one behind. The 236ers, Aaron Hamill and Mark Stevens hit over the line. 3-10. Plays 9-10.
Kick in to Mickey Martin. Just ran away from Luke O'Sullivan and then kicked it out to the wing. Player unattended is Robert Scott. Just a little late on the scene there, McKay. Robert Scott runs away. Lackadaisical marking by the Blues. Good mark taken by Sexton. He is standing tall for the Blues. The outstanding Carlton player on the ground is Michael Sexton. Kicks it out wide to Camporeale. Camporeale's left foot pass is all right. Player on his own is Murphy. Murphy can go down with the left foot into the pocket. No mark to Hamill. He's having a shocker. Hand pass by Clappe. Dean Rice fumbles. Ball spills back to the middle for North Melbourne. Bell to Stevens. Stevens to half forward. In front Dean. Punched away by Archer. Two antagonists. Very good at the caper. Kicked away by Sexton for the safety of the line.
Well, the tempo's gone up a notch, and Peter Dean has really pumped up on the testosterone at half-time because he is fuming. Let's have a look at this one. Robbo, take us through it.
Well, I reckon he's gathered the ball, run to the line. I don't think it's hit his boot, has it? Yes, it has. No, it's a goal. Fair enough, it was a very, very close decision, and the goal umpire to his credit. Chandler kicks to the forward pocket. Contest punched away from Scholl by Manton. Gathered by Christou. He's having a pretty ordinary night. Sexton run down by Danilchenko. Just numbers everywhere for North Melbourne. A great sign for the Kangaroos. Scholl's kick to the goal square. Punched away by McKay. And a free kick has been picked out. It will go to the Blues to be taken by Dean in that marking contest.
Well, the tempo of the match has lifted up a couple of cogs. Carlton have really put the foot on the accelerator, but the bottom line is that North Melbourne have outscored them 2-1 in this term.
Dean goes short to Ange Christou, but he may have to go back and do it all over again. Kick over the man on the mark. In the meantime, Dean Rice leaves the ground, and Brett Ratton, who left it for the blood rule, is back on. Throw in.
Gee, you can be arrogant when you're 6 goals in front, can't you?
Oh, we'll let them go. McKernan from behind. Tried to juggle it, was still going. Eventually flicked it towards Chandler. He's claimed. Ball is held. Stevens and Ratton both down there. McGuan doing the untying.
And Hamill coming down with the runner into defence. He may well drag Peter Dean out. No, it's Glenn Manton.
Still inside 50. North showing the way. McKernan wins it, but taken by McKay. He gives it away to Bradley. The two South Australians combined to go to the half-back line. Only as far as that, though. Dean Laidley. He's had the better of Whitehead. Picked up only a couple of possessions so far tonight, but he hasn't been on his own. Capriali loses it. Beautiful spin out by Scholl. Can he do something magical in front of goal? One behind. Took 3 excellent marks earlier in the game. Scholl. Christou down the middle. There's another one. He's got a good pair of hands.
Glenn Manton now at full forward for the Blues. Push out.
Speaking of the forward line, play goes on, I'm afraid. Jared Healy, and Allison takes it from Peter Bell and says thank you.
Great passage of play for the Roos. They're now 10-11 to 3-10. This is a match-winning lead. Game probably all over. But justification here, because that was a push out in my view from Peter Dean. Great roving. So it's going to take something extraordinary for the Blues to get back into this. Despite being cheered on ever so enthusiastically by Ian Roberts, I think it is going to be a big task.
Something extraordinary might be an extra 3 players on the ground. I think they just are being slaughtered, particularly at ground level. I mean, they've taken a lot of marks, but every time the ball's hit the ground, North Melbourne, and it's a great sign, isn't it, when you look as though you've got too many players on the field. Camporiali's kick to the full forward line. Clappe, kick off the ground by Manton, may even go through for a goal. It is. Goal to the Blues. So, a struggle. They get their 4th goal on the scoreboard. They trail by 37 points, and McGuan coming off. Williams will take his place. McGuan having a quiet night, 3 kicks and 3 handballs.
Yeah, it's a pretty quiet night for Mickey, but this is, well, luck's a fortune, as Peter McKenna would say. And that was a very lucky little dribble across the goal line, but they all count. And he's kicked 25% of Carlton's goals now, Glenn Manton.
So Greg Williams back on the ground at the expense of McGuan. McKernan wins it, taken by Koutafidis, but he's claimed. Cavariali, a hurried kick under pressure. It's high. Blakey's got front spot. Clappe edges him underneath the ball. Trying to storm his way through was King, taken by Koutafidis again. In the middle of the ground, Carlton, are they mounting a charge? Kuta goes for goal. It's vacant. It's only got a bounce, but it bounces to the left. And Bradley desperately lunges, but can't get there in time. Prompting David Parkin to again call for the phone. David King. Brings it back into play, wants Blakey. Pinpoint accuracy finds him. Goes straight on with the job to Stevens, who kicks long, and it's going to be down the ground. A late tackle by Greg Williams, I think, on Chandler, has seen North take control of the ball through Archer in the middle.
White on and looked like Murphy off for the Blues.
He wants Danilchenko a little too far for him. Peter Bell, though, he's been a real live wire, particularly in front of goal. He bends this back and sneaks through behind.
An interesting, Robbo, Justin Murphy having a very quizzical look up at the bench after being dragged.
Well, I guess that David Parkin has got to be seen to have made some changes. I mean, they're just getting slaughtered. Here's a chance for them to get away from the centre wing area. O'Sullivan swings around onto his left foot and then kicks effectively towards half forward. Bradley in front, takes the mark in front of Robert Scott.
Been a pretty good duel, but Robert Scott just on the top in this quarter, despite the fact that Bradley has kicked a goal.
He's at 9 and 5, Craig Bradley. He's kicking to half forward, safely marked by Stevens. That's Anthony Stevens for North Melbourne. Kicks it out wide. He's got two players out there. They can raffle it. Freeborn won it. Must have bought 50 tickets in it. Now it's taken here by Scholl. Scholl on the wing for North Melbourne. He's kicking towards centre half forward. Contest back here. Allen punches from behind. Gathered by Ratton. Good to see him recovered from that heavy clash with Manton. Christou's kick to half forward, marked by Whitnell. Whitnell really striving hard for his team. Little kick for White. In there is King. King lost it. White's handball, not bad for Camporeale. Around, blind over his left shoulder. Back towards Williams and Stevens. Williams just not in it at all, Greg Williams. Stevens takes it away. Handball to Blakey and North Melbourne away from half-back.
Back towards centre wing, McKernan. Marks in opposition to Allen. Plays on straight away. The kick coming from Freeborn down towards half forward. Sexton couldn't take it cleanly. Allison again, taking it from the acting captain. Will waltz into goal and put down another one for the Roos. Brett Allison has now kicked 3 of North Melbourne's 11.
And Anthony Rock has just dished out the handball of the evening. An absolute classic. This one, bang, great vision. I'm not sure whether Allison called for it. He just spotted him out of the corner of his eye. But nevertheless, whether it's peripheral vision or the audio-visual stuff, it was a great result.
3 goals to Allison as North goes steaming clear here at the MCG. 78 plays 35. The bounce is not a good one for anyone. Eventually Ratton takes the hand pass. Goes down towards the forward line. Martin goes over the top. They've got all the answers. King bounces his way out of trouble. He tucks it under his arm. Shepherding sees him clear. Runs his full distance to centre wing. Stevens gives it away to Chandler. He looks down towards half forward. Here comes Archer. Dives but couldn't take it. This may open the door for Peter Dean, but Danilchenko is there as well. Dean's got Sexton for good support. He needs him. Great smother by Archer.
Yeah, the 1%ers of the Kangaroos are coming to the fore. That was a great smother. And it was a great shepherd by Martin Pike down here for David King. And King went over and smacked him on the backside. And that's what generates great team spirit. But what a great player he's been, Glenn Archer.
But he dived for the mark about 4 seconds earlier. So he's got up quickly, gone at the second effort, and the smother, I mean, that's inspirational stuff.
He's going to be a good player when he gets fair dinkum,
Oh,
Robert.
terrific stuff. I mean, that's what football's about. The Blues have forced the ball into their left forward pocket region. That's John Blakey. 78 plays 35.
And of course, Peter Dean wouldn't have pumped him up at all, would he?
No, that's amazing, isn't it? That if you keep looking up the scoreboard, you just that's the way that you answer any of the critics.
Christou off for Rice.
So with 7 minutes left, Manton doing the ruck work. He's got a chance here to Bradley. In turn to Williams. Wider still for O'Sullivan. Gee, there's too many fumbling for the Blues. Just too many. And North Melbourne's pressure all over the ground. There's a great player for them, number 10, Anthony Stevens. He's been terrific. 11 kicks, 6 hand passes. He's taken 9 marks, affected 1 tackle. And we become a little bit used to it, don't we? Because he's been a great stalwart. Laidley kicks it away for North Melbourne. It bounces away from Corey McKernan, over for a throw-in. Been a good quarter for North Melbourne. Carlton fired up, kicked the first goal of the third term, but the Roos have answered. They've kicked 4, the Blues have kicked 2 so far, so the gap opens even further. Ratton tries to get it down. Williams, hand pass in towards the centre. It may bounce nicely for Capariali. Gets around onto his right foot. Kicks towards half forward. Contest back here. Manton and Stevens. That's Mark Stevens. The ball rebounds for Chandler. Chandler goes wide to King. King straightens up and kicks direct towards full forward. Denelchenko up high, couldn't take the mark. Rice gets the crumbs, a little bit slow, but able to get the handball to Hamill. He in turn, wide to Bradley. It was intended for that player. Williams a little kick, not bad, but Dean slips over. Bradley off the ground, out wide. Williams has a chance. He's going to be run down. Little kick was to the advantage of Bell in the finish. Bell's little kick's a beauty. Scott can run on, close to 50. There's a man on his own in the square. Denelchenko couldn't take the mark. Well done by Dean. Not clear by Denelchenko. Gathered by Allen. Hand pass to the centre. Capariali to Bradley. He's gone. Freeborn tucked him up. Allison back to McKay. In turn, look for Rice. And now the Blues will get clear.
Dean Rice. Short kick is okay. It finds White. He's almost down to the centre of the ground. North pouring on relentless pressure. The effective spoil on Whitnell by Martin. Sees it slapped towards the line, but Whitehead keeps it in, only to give it to Roberts. He floats a flat-looking punt kick up towards half forward. Laidley handled that like a hot potato and eventually popped it over the line.
Yes, often players think that they're doing the right thing by making the desperate lunge to bring the ball back into play, as we saw Whitehead do just then, but only to the advantage of North Melbourne. But the forward line pressure of North Melbourne has been a real key to this game.
5 minutes of this third term remaining. Ratton loses it to Roberts, in turn to Bradley. Pumps it high towards half forward. Blakey whips away from Clappe.
Just no crummers.
Look at King. Chops his way through. Gets the hand pass away. They can set something up again. Scholl loves to run, and he does. In towards Denelchenko. Could have been tripped.
Well, this is unbelievable. We've seen it happen 2 games in a row. Yesterday, the Fremantle Dockers against Hawthorn, I was watching a replay of it, where the umpire inside the forward 50 looked at the decision, didn't want to have a bar of it. He was happy to pay Sexton, and the central umpire comes in and pays the exact opposite decision as the other umpire. So unfortunately, we're getting a confusing picture with the umpires both seeing the same event and having different interpretations.
Denelchenko has kicked 1 goal. That was in the second quarter. Well, he starts that way left as Mick McGuan comes back out onto the ground. That's out of bounds on the full, so Craig Bradley will bring it back into play for the Blues.
Not much to cheer about for those Carlton fans that have weathered the conditions here.
No, that'll be a big contest next week now, as on their home ground they play host to Adelaide. If you had 2 sides that'll be pumped up for a win, it'll be those 2, as Martin Pike kicks a high ball into the forward line once again. Sexton couldn't take it. There's been a whistle.
Now it's 50 metres against North Melbourne. Well, Dean was bumped out of position by Archer in the marking contest. You can see, well, you'd think that was fairly blatant, Gerard, wouldn't you?
Well, I think I'd sit on the fence on that one, Robert.
Oh, well, Dean has it, and the 50 metres brought him up nearly to the middle. Goes past Manton and Laidley. Laidley, kick off the ground by O'Sullivan, but a free kick against Manton to Dean Laidley at right half back. North Melbourne 11-12, lead the Blues 4-11, so the margin is 43 points. Good strong mark to Archer. He just looks as though he's got bigger from last year, if it's at all possible, and hasn't lost all that much aggression. It's gone to half forward for North, taken away by DeUlio. His handball into the path of Sexton. I tell you what, you've just knocked up counting those fumbles for the Blues. Now McKay, he's a little bit surer with his ball handling, kicks it out wide, but really to the advantage of Freeborn. He's on Camporeale, just prepared to kick it away from the contest there, and it goes over for another boundary throw in centre wing. 2 goals to the Blues in this third term, 4 goals to North Melbourne, and still the pensive Carlton fans, but the cheering North Melbourne fans go marching on. Kangaroos have been pretty good. They look as though they're going to be a contender. I don't know what quite happened there against Melbourne, but they still look as though they're going to be a very, very keen contender for the 1997 final series anyway. Whitnell has the football for the Blues.
In their attempt to become the first team in the 90s to win back-to-back flags.
Yes, it's going to be difficult, but gee whiz, they still look pretty good, don't they?
Yep. Whitnell into half forward as precious seconds tick away for Carlton in this third term. Koutafidis picks it up on 50. Wobbles it in towards goal. Now this may bounce away in towards the pocket. It does. And Anthony Rock, Mr. Reliable, the acting captain, brings it out. They steam out of trouble. This is Stevens, Mark Stevens, looking towards left half forward. And Allison, who's beaten 3, takes it from Peter Bell, kicks in towards Archer, Danilchenko and co. Archer got a hand to it, tried to soccer it forward. Look at North Melbourne players pounce on that ball. Lock it up in the forward line, and Peter Dean, well, he's not enjoying himself down there because Michael Sexton was ridden into the ground, but the enthusiasm and the aggressiveness of North Melbourne really rattling Carlton at the moment. It's once again inside their 50. Scholl has it held. McKay gets the hand pass away. Hurried kick by Aaron Hamill towards centre wing and taking it over the line to force another throw in is Mark Stevens. Experimented in the last 2 years with Monday Night Football. One game each year in 95 and 96, and each time crowds have been in excess of 59,000. That probably won't be the case tonight as Pike uses his strength to get through, go down towards Archer. Look out, Craig Bradley meets him solidly. Stevens is third in line to eventually soccer it forward. It's okay. Roberts to Robert Scott. Handled it like a hot potato. So did Ratton. Scholl has a fresh air shot. Scott's in there once again. O'Sullivan tackled by Laidley. Ball spilled free to Camporeale. Wobbles it towards centre wing. It's wide, but not wide enough for Glenn Manton, who takes the diving mark.
So still the Blues struggle to get the ball at least a half forward, and it just keeps bounding back from there. Ratton's short kick, even there's a bit of misunderstanding. O'Sullivan takes it away from Camporeale, kicks to half forward. It clears the players, but there's Corey McKernan covering some territory. A high kick lands and bounces away. Scholl quickly onto it, turns back onto his left, and then kicks reasonably effectively. Sexton in front and takes a good strong mark. And if he doesn't get the votes for Carlton's best and fairest tonight, well, you would wonder, wouldn't you? Impressive stats. 16 kicks and 2 hand passes. Knocked away from Koutafidis by Pike, who has done a very good job. He's had 9 possessions himself, Martin Pike, and restricted Koutafidis to just 14.
Yes, it's interesting, the Koutafidis of 1997 played mostly on the wing, had a bit of a spell at centre-half forward last week and did quite well. But it just appears as if he's a little bit out of sorts. His numbers are pretty good, 14 possessions, but he just hasn't been the impact player that we've come to expect of Anthony Koutafidis.
30 seconds left as Robert Scott is hassled towards the line in this quarter. Scott kicked 1 goal earlier in this term. As North look towards recording their first win of the home and away season for the year. McKernan against Koutafidis. Bradley appeared to be held. Freeborn towards the line. Anthony Stevens there also. And another throw in as they just count down the seconds with a siren. Maybe they were Carlton supporters not going enough to come out. Who knows? Allen, McKernan, Stevens, Anthony towards centre wing. Well, they can have a spell now. John Blakey is quite happy about that. Heading over with Freeborn. Luke O'Sullivan, hands on hips. As we go to our boys in the outer, in Tim Watson and Wayne Schwartz. Tim?
Well, Wayne, John Blakey not getting a lot of the ball, but it's done a terrific job on Clappo tonight.
Yeah, I think he's done a very good job. Johnny Blakey, he's blanketed him pretty well, and I think that the blokes that have done the tagging roles and the blanketing roles all have done a pretty good job, and it's allowed our more flary and more players with a bit more attack in them to cut open the game, especially David King. I think the improvement of Glenn Archer at centre half forward has been nothing short of fantastic.
Well, Dennis Pagan obviously had a plan going into this game. I guess that was centred on a lot of his midfield players keeping on top of the Carlton midfielders, and they seem to have done that terrifically well tonight.
Yeah, I think that you know, there was a lot of pressure on the boys with the exclusion of Wayne after last week, but the role that everyone's played, and they've all realised that they played a significant part in the team structure, has been fantastic, and it's allowed them to be where they are at the moment. But I'm sure Dennis, being Dennis, he'll be drilling home the message to continue on and don't let up.
So he won't be taking the foot off the accelerator at three-quarter time?
No, there's no chance of you doing that, Tim.
Okay, thanks, Wayne. Back to you, Sandy.
Thanks, Tim. Yes, they've stretched that half-time lead to 43 points at the final change. 11-12, 78. That's the Roos. Carlton, a 4-11-35. Just about set to go in this final quarter. This is for the completion of the second round.
Good has gone into the middle, Sandy. So perhaps they can get their young superstar to lift them from within.
And Greg Williams, by his standards, has been fairly quiet. He spent a lot of time on the bench in that third quarter. 4 kicks and 6 hand passes.
He's also spent a lot of time in the last 7 days thinking about everything other than football.
I was going to say, if the last week hasn't taken its toll, I'll go heat.
Also up against Anthony Stevens, one of his nemesis over the years and a great player.
Who's been, again, quite sensational. Anthony Stevens. Martin Pike is surrounded by 4 Carlton players. As we go for another bounce, it's won by Allen, taken away by Blakey, who kicks to half forward, only to see Dean Rice. Beat Allison on that occasion. Allison's got 3 goals, though. Rice, a floater towards the 50-metre line. Oh, Whitnell! Up higher than the Whitman's lightship.
I think that gives you another indication of how much ability this kid's got.
Goes back and long in towards full forward. McKernan unable to take it back, packing, and it's just pushed over the line, conceding one behind.
The forward line is always going to be a problem for Carlton when their skipper damaged the tendon. Let's have another look at Lance Whitnell's big grab. He's played mainly a centre half forward tonight. That perhaps isn't his best position. But if you continue to take grabs like that, you can play anywhere.
So the Blues go forward again through Matthew Allen, but safely marked at full-back for North by Anthony Stevens. Very impressive stats for Stevens. Equally as efficient in the last line of defence has been David King. Manton trying to keep Blakey, but have a look at Blakey. He's just an absolute pest, isn't he? Just keeps on having a bit of a dip at it, John Blakey. And on this occasion holds it up for North Melbourne. It's about 46 metres out from the Blues goal. John Blakey, a very determined player, man on a mission. Taken by Rock, gets it back to King. King's kick, blindly, but well marked by Dean on centre wing, and Archer. Oh, he was still there, wasn't he? Like the fruit fly, the pest. Matthew Allen runs away from half forward and kicks in towards full forward. Whitnell up high, couldn't take the mark. Clappe, good gather, but missed the kick. Pike takes it and kicks it back. So still the Blues surging forward, but can't get any value. North Melbourne now will go forward. You would think here, Danilchenko, he missed everything nearly too. The ball slewed off the side of his boot. Matthew Allen about to gather, gets the hand pass away to Bradley, slips the tackle from Danilchenko, and then kicks in towards the half-forward area. Oh. No mark taken. Gathered by Clappe, gave it away to Blakey. Blakey's little kick went past Chandler, but he's able to gather and then kick forward for the Kangaroos to the right half-forward area. Dean dives on it. Risky. Archer throws his right foot at it. Gets to full forward. Dulio keeps his footing, then falls over. The football underneath there somewhere, and the umpire will bounce about 45 metres from the North Melbourne goal.
Last one up was Jason Danilchenko. Archer does the ruck work. Bradley will be first to this, but he will struggle to keep it in play, with his shadow Robert Scott right behind him. DeLulio again favouring that knee. Just adding to Carlton's woes. Allen to Camporeale. Bradley there also. Chandler too. Ratton now in trouble. An underground hand pass to Scott. Camporeale is all right. Back to Bradley. If it sits, he's okay. DeLulio ducks so he can get an effective kick. It bounces back to Bradley again. He'll have another one. Pumping them in towards 50. Oh, Whitnell went half an hour too early and has given away the free.
If you notice Bradley each time, I mean, when you see Craig Bradley playing really well, he runs with the footy, kicks it to the advantage of the team with short passing or whatever. Most of his kicks tonight have just been blind shots, haven't they?
Well, he's been under a fair bit of pressure himself, Craig. And it's got to be said, Robbo, that the options up forward have been pretty poor too. There hasn't been much movement on the Carlton forward line, and North Melbourne defenders have been playing it pretty tight.
Bell finds King. Shepherding allows him to have a little run in towards Archer. Hard at the ball and into Dean Rice. I think Peter Dean has given away a free kick. Will go the way of Allison. He plays on straight away. He's booted 3 goals. He looks towards half forward. Longmire's on the ground. This is Matt Clappe heading towards the outer side.
Oh,
McKernan's down behind.
He's all right.
Is he all right?
I think it's winded more than his knee. I think it's just one straight into the stomach.
Sexton was the Carlton player, and he's still in the hands of the trainers.
McKernan up and contesting this ball, actually does the shepherding work for Longmire, who tries to swing round in a wide arc. Not so. Peter Bell goes for goal. Going to be close. Archer gets back there now, and a behind is registered. But Peter Bell has been busy, has booted 1 goal 3 as Danilchenko has a spell. It's 11-13, playing 4-12.
Dean with the footy for the Blues, kicks in short and finds Rice. Allison minding the mark. Rice goes further down towards the half-back area. The mark is taken here by Hamill. Hamill quickly, player on his own is Matt Allen. He's run from perhaps making position across half-back for the kick-in, and kicks from centre wing. Great mark, terrific mark taken by White. And as White prepares to shoot for goal, Danilchenko, we saw him come off the ground dipper.
Yes, Rob. The doctors are working at the moment. It looks like he's got a jarred knee. The doctors will give me an update very shortly, but he's in a bit of pain at the moment.
Well, Adam White shoots for goal, and it falls short. At a great mark. Manton, well done. Gee, that was quick, wasn't it? Manton kicks his 2nd goal in spectacular circumstances, as was his first. And it's the 5th for the Blues. 11-13 North, 5-12 Carlton.
Let's just have a look at these 2 marks. Quite spectacular. Matty Allen bringing the ball long. I don't think really kicking to anybody, just kicking to a spot. He certainly wasn't kicking it to Adam White, who floated across the front. And this is equally as good a grab. Great goal.
Glenn Manton certainly not doing things by halves when it comes to kicking for goal tonight. As we go back to the centre, and it's Ratton who sets Carlton forward again. His kick down towards the 50. Beautifully taken by Chandler on the half volley. He defends to John Blakey. Wobbles one wide because he knows there's not a lot on the offer. Keeping it in play for Carlton was Aaron Hamill. Struggle tonight. Ratton and Chandler having a little bit to do.
Gee whiz, it's amazing how when you just miss the target with a short pass or a hand pass, how you set your teammate up. That was Hamill's handball. He had good intentions, but it was a very ordinary handball.
Interesting to see kicking in danger being paid tonight, Robbo. Hasn't all been looked at all that closely in the opening round and the Ansett Cup, you've got to say.
Throw in the left forward pocket.
Whitehead on the bench with Christou and Murphy.
Christo injured. He may miss next week's game. They come up against the Crows.
Yeah. At Optus Oval.
Malcolm has made sure that's going to be an interesting encounter.
Camporeale snaps across the face.
Found a free kick back here. No, they haven't.
No, I think it's a kick down the ground, Chandler, I think. And it is going to be down the ground. He was having a chat to Chandler.
I think it's a Carlton free kick, isn't it? I think it's going to the Blues in the goal square.
Might be Whitnell.
Well, it's obviously happened from down in this left half forward area where the kick came in from by Camporeale.
Well, you could hazard a guess that Mickey was doing a bit of jumper pulling and he was spotted by Rowan Sawyers. So there's going to be more of these decisions that we don't know much about because we're not looking down that far.
Whitnell kicks his first. And Carlton get their sixth. It's 11-13 to 6-12.
Well, 6 goals was never going to win a game of footy. I said earlier in the match that maybe it was 11, but 6, they've certainly got to have a thorough examination, Carlton. They have come out of the Melbourne rooms. Sandy, perhaps that could be a theory. It's about as many goals as we used to get when I was playing at Melbourne.
Yeah, you're hard on yourself. 79 to 48 though. Koutafidis slaps it out. The constant pressure really hasn't let up from North though all night. Hamill finding out all about that. Stevens over the line. He's a good player, Robbo, Anthony Stevens.
Yeah, he's just got tremendous durability and determination.
Williams off, by the way.
And
Carlton.
Matt Allen, he's been striving pretty hard against the odds. Robert Scott, umpire will call for a bounce. Robert Scott and Craig Bradley have had a terrific battle, haven't they? Scott's 14-5 and kicked a goal, and Bradley's 15-5 with 4 tackles and he's kicked a goal. Brett Ratton trying to get clear. Robert Scott has the football, tackled by Bradley, and the umpire just allows play to go on and gives the all clear for a boundary throw-in. Quickly on the scene to check the players that hit the ground. And Craig Scholl came off the ground a few moments ago, Dipper.
Yes, Rob, he's come off with a very bad cork in his right thigh there, so the doctor's just icing it now.
Well, he'd done a pretty good job, Craig Scholl. He set it up early, taking a couple of fine marks when the rain was coming down. Craig Scholl, 13 kicks, 3 hand passes, kicked a goal. Up goes Longmire, tries to get it down to Scott. Taken there by Whitehead, back to Bradley. Bradley's kick will bounce awkwardly at full forward. Still there, contest, kicked away by King. Whitnell, now the race is on. Look at Mick. Oh, Mickey Martin, Whitnell dives on it. McKay goes after it for the Blues. Tackled by Martin. Handball away. Glenn Freeborn there for North Melbourne. And the boundary umpire will throw it in about 35 to 40 metres around from the Carlton goal. Mickey McGuan on the bench. Well, it's a much heralded bench at the moment for the Blues with Williams spending time there. And alongside him, gee whiz, you wouldn't have called that about 12 months ago, would you?
No.
The bloke that used to chase him all around the field, Mick McGuan.
Yeah. Old habits die hard, Robbo. He's just fold him to the bench.
Justin Murphy is the player to come back out onto the ground. For the Blues, Koutafidis doing the ruck work. Laidley soccers off the ground, gets it back towards the middle. Rice could be first to it though. Put his head down and burrowed forward with a hand pass towards Matt Clappe. He finds Sexton, delightfully plucked in with a one hand by Michael Sexton to Bradley in the pocket. He couldn't quite do it with a one hand. Robert Scott on all fours, continuing to pour on the pressure. Braddle says, what do I have to do to get a kick? Picks himself up, and we'll see a throw-in take place in their right forward pocket, the Blues. Koutafidis in front. Ratton is there. Anthony Stevens gets a hurried kick. Doesn't travel a great deal of distance, however, and it's Chandler who sees it over the line.
It was a pretty high-profile recruit, Mick McGuan, over summer, Robbo, and right now in round 2 you'd say he's got a long way to go to justify Carlton's decision.
Yeah, my word. No argument there.
Pike initiated the hand pass. North Melbourne out of trouble through Stevens. That was Mark. Back towards centre wing. Rice leads Allison. Allison almost gets him. Roberts has an airy. Hamill a chance for Carlton. Centering kick towards McKay, but intercepted was Freeborn. Cry of ball, and I think it's going to be paid. Freeborn towards centre half forward. McKernan in front. Got a hand to it. Couldn't complete the mark. Archer is like a brick wall. Rock there also. Too high. And it will come back. DeLulio at centre half back. Glenn Archer on the mark. He was the one that really sparked the North Melbourne fire in the second quarter after a very quiet first term. Peter Dean marks. Looks for Koutafidis and finds him almost down to left half forward.
And even just a little look of frustration there for Anthony Koutafidis too. His marker for the night, Martin Pike. Kick towards full forward, nearly taken by Whitnell. Ratton, handball, but Stevens, Anthony, gets his left foot to it, kicks it back towards the centre of the ground. Longmire tries to knock it on. Koutafidis has got it again. Handball over the top. Hamill over the top again. Rice runs down the ground and kicks towards full forward. Bradley in front of Scott. Bradley to the back, but too far for Ratton. North Melbourne defence is working very, very nicely together. Clappe can get the hand pass back to McKay, then Bradley. Bradley's kick lands at half forward.
Shit.
Three of them go for it. That's three Blues, and of course the Crummers then have to be North Melbourne. Chandler gets it down to King. King out wide, and Darren Crocker will get into the fray. He spent a lot of time on the bench, held it nicely, then hand pass to Anthony Stevens. His kick towards centre half forward, nearly the mark taken by Archer. Taken away by Rice, fell over at a critical stage. A struggle for possession. Sexton gathers. Shaw ball handling. Away to Allen. Allen's kick, nearly straight to Anthony Rock, but he backs it up again. Gathers, kicks to the centre, and Ratton is marked.
Smack bang in the middle of the ground. Plays on towards Luke O'Sullivan. He taps it down towards half forward. Whitnell tries to do the shepherding, but he's unsuccessful. Martin steals it, and Mickey goes towards Longmire. John Longmire spent plenty of time on the bench tonight. He kicks in towards half forward. Crocker is there, gets it out beautifully to Allison, who loves to kick a goal. But that time it's spinning the wrong way and slams into the behind post for a throw-in. $38,170 people here tonight as Adrian Whitehead is down on the sidelines with Dipper.
Yes, he's just come over with a shoulder injury after a heavy night. The injury list is getting quite long down here for Carlton.
38,170 here tonight. 11-14 plays 6-12. Craig Bradley will go short to Rice. Oh dear. He's okay. Back to Bradley. Now longer to the outer side. McKernan could have been free kick then. Instead, Ratton sockers it out of his hands, but straight to King. King looks across the ground. McKay gives chase, and North will be chasing him. Andrew McKay, it's a high floating kick, close to the line. It bounces inside the line.
You know, when you said Ratton did a little kick out to that North, I reckon I'd like to give that North player who contested it with Ratton. Ratton was about to kick. I think he thought it was going to be in danger, and the little tap out by the North Melbourne couldn't quite pick out who it was, but gee, they're important. All those little touches and interceptions of hand passes and what happens. Well, they don't get credited, do they? I mean, the
they do by the fellows on the end of
the coaching staff, no, don't they?
There's Bell to Scott. Loses it to Camporeale. Eventually gets his kick, although he was dragged to the ground afterwards, and the umpire some 100 metres away has blown his whistle and
overridden the umpire some 30 metres away.
And the ball's coming back to Scott Camporeale.
Yeah. Just getting back to your point, Robbo, that has been one of the major areas where North Melbourne have dominated this game. It's been a fantastic performance by them, but perhaps one of the worst Carlton performances I reckon I've seen in 4 years.
Yeah, they just look, well, flat-footed, don't they? This player has been terrific across their back line. He's just an absolute dasher, David King. Kicks it to Longmire. He's been dispossessed. Matty Allen couldn't quite get there. Onto it is McGuan. Tried to get it to Rice. Camporeale swoops on it with White, who is in the middle of that contest. It's Whitehead who is on the bench and was grimacing as he came off and sat on the bench. So maybe a little problem there for Adrian Whitehead.
Camporeale's had good stats at 21, 17 and 4, but hasn't really had an impact on the game.
This guy's played a terrific game for the Blues. They'd be probably 15 goals behind if it hadn't been for him. North Melbourne just knock it clear again. Rice tackled a little high maybe. And on the 50-metre defensive line, Dean Rice will take the free kick for Carlton.
Well, you wouldn't think so. You wouldn't have thought you'd be saying this at the start of the game, but it's almost been an uncompetitive performance by Carlton.
Bradley to the outer side. DeLulio looked to have knee problems earlier in the game, but is running it out now. They haven't been without their injury worries, though. Bell is ridden into the ground. Ratton over the top. And a free kick going the way of Carlton's Mick McGuan. Goes short. It's okay. Finds Adam White. Enthusiastic looking youngster. Passes in towards half forward. Manton picks himself up, almost throws it out to Matt Clappe. Clappe thinks about goal and gives it to Koutafidis. So Kouta gets his first and the Blues 7th. It's 7-12 playing 11-14.
And it's a bigger margin, really. I mean, it only says 26 points, but it's a bigger margin than that.
Yeah, it's an emphatic victory for North Melbourne, without doubt. Very few North Melbourne players have been beaten by their opponents. And probably Carlton would find 3 players that have been consistently good.
David Park, and well, I think all he can hope for now is maybe that the Blues kick the last 2 goals of the game. You wouldn't think that they could win, but certainly with a bit of character they can finish the game off. Blakey from half-back kicks across his body, and the Blues lead in the race for the ball here. Dean Rice away there to Dean. Gee whiz, I didn't quite know whether that was the right option. He had Murphy further down the field that he could have perhaps given it to Dean Rice, and eventually Peter Dean takes it over for a boundary throw-in.
I guess much has been made of the omission of Wayne Carey. They are also with Wayne Swass, but he's doing a great job for us, Sandy, in the man in the outer. But when you look at Carlton's omissions from the last time they played North Melbourne in round 14, they've got Kernahan, Hannah, Pearce, Brown, Madden, Silvani, Ben Sexton, who's no longer with the club, Adrian Hickmont and Brent Hoover. There's 6 premiership players and 1 grand final player there, so they've got a lot of people out, but I'm sure they'd be still disappointed with this performance.
How do you see the early part, Jared, where they missed a couple of what looked to be kickable goals? It's important, isn't it, in a game which is obviously not high scoring, to try and nail those rare chances that you get early in the game?
Yeah, they're the confidence boosters, aren't they? And we saw another episode, Sandy, at least you did live yesterday, where a couple of St Kilda goals went missing.
Yeah.
And it did seem to sap the players of their confidence.
Yesterday, Port Power was much the same. 3-8 in the first quarter, they kicked Port Power.
Not only does it sap team confidence, but it also saps the confidence of the bloke kicking the goal. And when you're dredging the barrel for senior players, they're all important.
I think Carlton at one stage had booted 1-9. Here's Koutafidis. Bang. And therein lies the story of the night. Mick Martin, solid as a rock.
They've absolutely struggled to find anything resembling a winner in that forward line, Carlton.
Blakey cruises out of defence, then goes long up towards McKernan and Sexton. Sexton's been the shining light again for Carlton. Chandler feeling the heat. McKernan and Sexton towards the boundary line. Corey gets a kick, but it's wide out on the full.
Gee, only centimetres over the line, I would have thought.
Craig Bradley.
He's been good again, Sandy. I mean, he's tried very, very hard, Craig Bradley, along with Michael Sexton, Carlton's 2 best players.
In towards Murphy, fisted away by Roberts. Crocker shovels it out the back door. North go down towards Archer and Dean. Allison is there also, who's booted 3. Roberts towards the boundary line, slaps it back in play. He wanted Archer. He didn't find him, however. Sexton quickly onto the left foot. David King comes steaming across the pack. Murphy is in front of it. Picks it up now. Centering in towards half forward. Laidley ridden into the ground.
And even that, oh dear. It's a good tackle, but what chance you got of getting rid of that? Bang, down he goes. Has he had a chance? Oh, golly Moses. It's getting to me.
It's getting late.
It's getting to me.
Take a pill. Take a pill.
It's only round 2, Robert.
Oh, dear.
In the meantime,
Only 3 minutes left.
White is going to shoot for goal.
You disappeared at three-quarter time. What did you inject into the system, Robert?
Let's watch White from 45 metres. Well, he sneaks Carlton that much closer. Another goal. Adam White kicks his first, and there is some respectability on that scoreboard now, but I don't think it tells the real story of the night. 80 plays 60.
Yes, I think I have to concur wholeheartedly with you there, Sandy. I mean, North Melbourne dominated the first 3 quarters. Blues have kicked 4 goals to North Melbourne goalless in this last quarter so far. Two points of all North Melbourne have kicked in this last term as Matthew Allen tries to get it clear. Back it comes to Murphy. Slick handball to McKay. McKay across his body to half forward. O'Sullivan. Ball spills for Bell to Anderson. Anderson straightens up and kicks very effectively to half forward. Punched away. Back to Sexton for the Blues. Good kick by Michael Sexton. Lands back near the wing, but a great mark. A solid mark taken by Mickey Martin in that position right on centre wing. So North Melbourne, after a bit of a surprise defeat against Melbourne in the first game of the year, will win their first match for 1997. Martin hanging on to the football and eventually kicks towards centre half forward. No mark. Hamill goes after it. Archer's handball, not bad. Chandler equally as good to Rock. Rock a little kick across the centre. Anderson is marked. Good kick of the footy, this fella too. Don't quite know whether he can reach the distance from here. The player on the mark is about 51 metres from goal. So it's going to have to be something like, well, nearly a 60-metre kick to score. But he's going to have a crack at it, and he just kicks it with tremendous strength. It is a beautiful kick for a goal. Most of the night on the bench, Stuart Anderson, but he'd be happy with that. He's kicked North Melbourne's 12th goal.
Well, it's 57 metres from memory from that line. It's penetrated the goal line by about 4 or 5, so he's kicked that over 60 metres. And that is a pretty long kick with a heavy ball. It's still pretty greasy out there.
Well, free kick, which, what does that look like? Must be an infringement in the ruck. But Allen took it, gave it to Bradley. Bradley's kick to full forward, nearly a one-hander to Manton. Kicked away by King. Out wide, close to the wing. Bounces awkwardly. Dean Rice able to gather. Then goes in short. All right too. No, McGuan couldn't take the mark. Underneath there, Koutafidis applies the tackle, but the North Melbourne player able to lock it up, which is Martin Pike, and the umpire will bounce. About 80 metres from the Carlton goal, between the centre of the ground and left half forward.
Saw Fraser Brown having a run in the reserves competition before the senior game tonight, and he looked as if he was not all that far away.
Peter Bell has been very good tonight. 16 kicks, 10 hand passes. As Mark Stevens has possession in the back pocket. Drifts it towards the outer side. No mark taken. Stolen by Rondolulio. Off to Murphy, who from a standing start pumps them in towards the forward pocket zone. Martin was there to fist it away if necessary. Instead, it's taken by Bell. Finds his skipper for the night in Anthony Rock. Rock goes from the back pocket towards halfback and Mark Stevens again.
cramping up too, I think.
Yes, forced to kick and kicks somewhat blindly to centre wing. It matters not as Allen takes the mark. North are exciting winners here at the MCG tonight by 26 points. Although they were restricted to 1-2 in the final term, they are quite victorious, due largely to Glenn Archer. A sensational game from quarter time. Here he is with Dipper.
Thanks very much, Danny. Well, what a way to come back after last week's defeat with a terrific win tonight. Yeah, especially without Wayne. All the journos been saying we can't do it without him, so we wanted to prove a point, and hopefully we've taken one step to doing that. Now you've moved from centre half back to centre half forward and really made the boys tackle well up in the forward line tonight. Yeah, Dennis threw me up there and told me to try and keep it alive in the forward line, try and get a couple of goals, and turned out all right. You seem a bit flat after a terrific win. I mean, it's been a long week for the football club, hasn't it, really? Yeah, I've had a bad case of the old diarrhea, actually. So, why did you see you come out after the boys come onto the ground? I had stomach cramps, had to go sit on the dunny for 5 minutes. That's where you got to go. But overall, without Wayne Carey tonight, as you said, there, it was an important win for the boys, wasn't it? Yeah, well, it's like I said before. They say we can't win without him. Yeah. When they say that, they may as well be saying that we're not too much chop, so we're trying to prove them wrong. Well, son, go back to the dunny, all right? Off you go.
Yes, we're sorry to hear that, Glenn. Let's hope that things work out, if I can use that phrase. In the meantime, let's go to our men in the outer in Tim Watson and Wayne Schwass. And Wayne, you would have heard those comments from Glenn. It's interesting, isn't it? It would have an effect on the other players in the side with people suggesting no Carey, no North. You'd have a point to prove.
I think it's a little bit more than suggesting. I mean, every time Wayne doesn't play, we seem to have this, whatever you want to call it, reputation or a stigma put to us that we're no good without him. And I think that it's a first step in the next 10 weeks to prove that perhaps we're a little bit better than what people give us credit for. And I think that, all things considered, with the week that we've had, I think it's a great credit to all the players that went out there tonight and wore the jumper, and they all did their job, and they all chimed in and allowed us to have a good win.
Well, Wayne, can you force your way back into the side against Essendon next Sunday?
I'd like to be able to think that I'll come back in, but now it's up to Dennis. I mean, my suspension's over now, Timmy, and I'm looking forward to getting back in and hopefully getting straight back into the seniors.
And how many weeks would it take you to get match fit again?
Oh, I'd like to think that it'll take me 1, maybe 2 weeks, but I'm just so looking forward to getting back out there now, and with the events of tonight and the events of last week, getting involved and see if I can help the side progress towards what hopefully can be a good year.
Okay, Wayne, well, good luck. Go inside and have a sing-song with the boys.
Thanks, Tim.
Okay, Sandy, I can tell you that he's a very nervous watcher here. He chewed his own nails and he started chewing on mine.
Thank you, Tim and Wayne Schwass. Boys, thank you both for tonight. And safe trip home. Good luck to Wayne, having served out his time. We wish him well for the 97 season. His teammates did it well tonight. Victorious in the end by 26 points. 12-14 to Carlton's 8-12.